Hey everyone. So I wanted to put out a doer request. So to be honest, I've already had a really sucky week, but today I didn't have my thobe hidden well in my trunk, and my mom saw it, so she point blank asked me if I was Muslim, and lying is haram, so I didn't, and I basically had to tell her I was. Now, I've been praying for the right time and the right moment, and I know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's timing is always perfect. I mean, this is a tough one, but she took it well. She's just sad, being that she's a Christian and doesn't think that I'm going to go to heaven at this point. But I used it as an opportunity to try to explain to her like where I was led. So I was basically the one that led her to Baptist church back when I started. So I was like, the same God that led me to lead you to Baptist church is the one that led me to Islam. So you're just gonna have to trust me on this one as far as my reasoning. And then I laid out the reasons why, as far as my views on the Trinity being polytheism and the salvation not really making sense to me, and just praying her heart's open, that she's receptive to it, and that it doesn't hurt her too much, because I mean, it sucks, but at the same time it's worse to lie about it. I wish I could say it feels good, but honestly it doesn't. I don't like causing pain in that regard, but I still know it was something necessary to do. So if you could just pray that her burden is eased as far as accepting it, and that she would even be open to Islam, and that my journey would be eased as well, I'd really appreciate it. So I was born into a Catholic family, not especially religious. We'd just go to church on holidays, something like that. And it always felt forced to me. I didn't like the idea of having to confess my sins to a priest because I can talk to God himself. I didn't like the idea of purgatory and their concept of salvation when they said Jesus died for my sins. And I didn't like the history of it and how a lot of those concepts really persisted through the years. So I was essentially in a gray area and basically prayed to God, I don't know what rules to follow, but I admit you exist and I want to follow the correct one, so I trust you'll lead me where to go. So I eventually found a Baptist church and started going to that and was heavily invested in it, but started finding things that I didn't like once again. And like how money was spent. I didn't like how this church would make hundreds of thousands of dollars, and then if you wanted to go on a missions trip or fund certain things, you would have to pay for that yourself. That didn't make sense to me. I didn't like the concept of salvation either, because if Jesus died for your sins, but not believing in him is a sin, then shouldn't that cover that sin too? Didn't make sense to me. And then there was other stuff, but eventually I was in that gray area again, and basically read through the Bible, and I admitted that it had been translated so many times over the years by powerful people, and when that happens, agendas can seep in. So I didn't know what was real and what wasn't, and I basically just prayed, I don't know what to follow, but I trust once again that you'll lead me where I'm supposed to be, and just kept my heart open. So I found myself like not eating pork, not drinking. My tithing habits would be giving directly to the community opposed to a church, because I never trusted their agendas. And then I ended up having a conversation with a friend of mine who's a Muslim, and they kind of broke things down for me that I had never really thought of before. And all these light bulbs started going off that things I'd been doing were Islamic. I just never realized it. So once I started reading the Quran and getting into it, and seeing how much it actually aligned with my thoughts and the concept of salvation in Islam and everything like that, really just fit perfectly with the mindset that I had grown over the years. So it was kind of like finding a home I didn't know I had. And that's basically what I'm trying to build my foundation off of now, and where I'm trying to be led next.